I don't know. I can imagine quite a bit.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars News Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabunker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
I have nothing. I thought, I'm going to say something clever and funny, and I don't have it.
Normally you go right into it, and I like the idea of a podcast where both the host and the co-host both go, nah, we don't have anything.
I don't have an opening
And then
bit.
we should play the outro and go, that's it.
That's it. Thanks. Don't let the horse get you mad. No, I was making a joke about my beard, but I can't.
It's very Luke Skywalker, Last Jedi. Although you trimmed it, and I thought you had a complete haircut the other day.
No, I'm not. I really need a hair.
No, you brushed it. You said
Yeah.
You brushed it. Yeah.
By the way, I'm just working on my Wookiee cosplay. That's all this is. I have not actually shaved in months. Really, I haven't. And
I've been alive 50 years. I've never said to somebody, "Oh, you got yourself a haircut," and have them respond with, "Nah, I just brushed my beard."
I just groomed myself.
I just took a brush to my facial hair. I love it.
Lots going on in the world of Star Wars this week. I have a ton of stuff to get to, but before we do, I'm starting our favorite segment, Stupid Star Wars Headlines.
What? How? What are you talking about? Huh? What? Goodness gracious me.
Oh, there's so many. Thank you, Flipboard. There's so many stupid headlines. What do you got for us this week?
Here's the headline. This is from comicbook.com, and the headline is, Mark Hamill trolls Star Wars fans with Episode 9 title reveal.
Oh, yes. I clicked on this.
Oh, do not. By the way, I'm trying to do this as a public service. I will click on these things to find out what it is. Do not click on clickbait headlines. I will do it for you. I'm
How
happy.
much do you charge for this?
Nothing right now, but we'll see. So what happened here, this is not even worth an article, and this is why I'm highlighting it. Someone tweeted at Mark Hamill, at Hamill himself, and it's funny, his Christmas name is Mark Ho 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 Hamill. Hi, Mark, do you know what Episode 9 is called? And he says, exclusive, it's called #Episode 9.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's not he's trolling fans.
But it's not a title reveal.
It's not the title either.
The title reveal is the misleading part of that headline because there's no reveal. It's Episode 9.
So basically, let's rewrite the headline.
Okay.
Mark Hamill tweets joke. That's it.
About Episode 9. You could say that. You could say, if you really want to, like, if someone had like a Google search going on, or what's it called when you have the words that you get emailed
Google
about?
Alert.
Google Alert about Episode 9. Do you have that set up for yourself?
I have it set up for Star Wars. Okay. And trust me, it's as good as Flipboard for the bad headline. Because anything published, you get a collection emailed to you once a week or whatever frequency you want.
Yes.
And that collection is depressing because a lot of it is that stuff.
So you could put Episode 9 in there in case somebody was looking for news from Episode 9. But the true thing is that it's just a joke. Mark Hamill tweeted a joke, which is not worth an article.
Hamill tweets joke. I'll just follow him on Twitter and I'll see the jokes he tweets.
Why not just retweet them from your own Twitter account that you let people know you saw it and you're sharing it?
Yeah.
That's what Twitter's for. All right, let's get to the big news of the week for me anyway.
You know who almost got the part of Han Solo and just missed it at the last minute? Nick Nolte. That would have made it a 10 times better movie. Nick Nolte is my favorite actor ever. Because he always looks like he was like roused from a really bad hangover and just kind of pushed towards the camera. And he just kind of, he's just great with his gut hanging out over the pistol belt and just not really committing to the whole idea of it. Hell, Chewbacca, go fix the goddamn hyperdrive. Jesus Christ. Hell, Chewbacca. Luke, that's not a goddamn space. Jesus. Fucking droids, beep, beep, Jesus, God, my head.
That is that's a bit from Patton Oswalt, which is hilarious, and it's been animated by Stark Toons. I found that video on YouTube, and that is just to lead into the news that Nick Nolte has joined the cast of The Mandalorian. So we may see that in a Star Wars canon.
And I do believe, by the way, and the video shows the mugshot, everyone's favorite mugshot of Nick Nolte, but he was shooting the Hulk at that time, I believe.
Yes, he was.
And that's why he was in
character.
Right. So I think I think he gets a lot of credit for being rougher than he actually is, based on the way they made him look in the Hulk movie.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think there's a little bit of explanation required.
You have to admit, though, the last few movies he's done, he's kind of had that look.
Yeah.
Like in
that's his look.
Tropic Thunder. He was the
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
Tropic
Thunder.
I don't remember him being.
He was the guy with no hands who really did have hands.
That was Nick Nolte.
Yes, he was like, let's put him in their shit, and he was the guy who wrote the book that the movie was based on, in Tropic Thunder.
Why
and
in heaven's name can I not recall that?
You have to watch that movie again. It's an amazing film.
Well, I remember Robert Downey Jr., which, by the way, even as a joke, I don't think you could do that ananymore.
No, that was not too long ago. Hey, not even 10 years ago. That film.
Even as an in joke, playing a character who is dressed that way.
Yes.
I don't think you could do that anymore.
It's funny because it is a very cool satirical look at Hollywood. That's what that movie's really, really good for.
It's
that.
sticking it to Hollywood.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. But yeah, I don't think you could get away with that these days.
I don't think you could.
Okay, so Nick Nolte is joining the Mandalorian. Who do we think he's playing, or what do you think he's going to be in the?
He'll be playing Boba Fett.
No,
no, I'm just kidding.
Boba Fett's uncle. He's going to be playing. What would he play? Some sort of a shopkeeper or bartender, or some sort of a smuggler, maybe.
Okay, let's just set the scene. I have gone on the record saying I do believe Boba Fett will be a character in The Mandalorian.
Yes.
And I believe. I'll go further and say he is the Mandalorian.
I'm sure he is the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
yes.
Everything, all the pictures from the set that we've seen, which haven't been many, but all look like Tatooine. So it's after Return of the Jedi.
Yes,
we know what happens in Return of the Jedi on Tatooine. So the stage is set. Maybe some other Mandalorian comes back to look for Boba. Maybe, and
maybe his cousin.
Maybe his cousin Johnny Fett. Tim.
Johnny Fett.
There are those who call me Tim. I think, and I worry, that Nick Nolte is just going to be like a Max von Sydow guy sitting around for a bit.
Yeah, that's very realistic.
However, I hope it's a bigger role than that. I hope it's more like John Voight on Ray Donovan.
I've not seen that show.
It's not good anymore,
okay.
but the first 2 seasons are delightful and well worth seeing. But then after that, I don't care what he's fixing. He's a fixer. I don't care what he's fixing anymore. But John Voight is on that show, and I think he's still on that show unless his character's dead. I mean, they could have killed him off by now. But he was like the perfect amount of John Voight on that show, and I think Nick Nolte could play a similar perfect amount of Nick Nolte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Nick Nolte or Nick Nolte?
What did I say?
You said Nolte.
I'm famous for my own pronunciations of actors' names, so I'm going to guess it's not what I said.
Okay.
Nolte?
Nick Nolte.
Did I say Nolte?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well,
That's okay.
There's no accounting for taste. But and he's not the only new.
Yeah. What was he? Now, I wasn't aware of this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Apollo Creed himself, the original Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Is in it.
He's in it, and I didn't know that until you told me this morning.
Yeah.
So
this show is skewing old.
He is Lando's dad. I'm just joking. That is.
Let me think about this. What's the timeline?
Maybe
he's Finn's dad.
Although he's probably the same age as Billy Dee, but think about Billy Dee back then. That's a joke. That's a Tracy Morgan joke, by the way. Like that's like the only 2 black guys in Star Wars, and that's an ongoing. They've done that on Saturday Night Live, all kinds of things where they've had. There's not a lot of people of color in Star Wars. So
of late they've
they're much better now
yes.
than they used to be, for sure. But yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with who he could be playing. So Carl Weathers is known for his kind of tough guy roles. Action
and Predator,
Jackson,
right?
Predator, very good Predator. Action Jackson, which I don't think is as good as I remember it to be. I saw it once.
Yeah, me too. It's been a long time.
But
it's been so long that Nick Nolte could be in it, and I don't even know.
But he also had a very funny role on Arrested Development as well. Remember?
Ooh,
Carl Weathers,
yes.
I think, playing himself, which was really funny.
But you know what I like about this casting news? Now, okay, and I've already mentioned, this could be blink and you miss them kinds of roles, because you never know with Star Wars.
And it's a series too, so it could be just one episode.
Even Gwendolyn Christie was announced with great fanfare, and it really produced nothing. Overall Star Wars. Fair, yeah. And Laura Dern too. I mean, Laura Dern was in Last Jedi, for a fair amount, but even that was only in passing, sort of thing, as we learned at the end of the film. But I hope that these cast members have a larger role to play. I like the idea that this is skewing older. I hope that this can be like what I envision as the perfect scenario is that this is like a Star Wars Game of Thrones with a big, and it appears because we've got Favreau directing Mandalorian.
Favreau wrote it as well.
We have big name actors, big name director, lots of money getting dumped into this thing from Disney.
Some directors that are on board. Taika Waititi is directing an episode.
Yep.
Bryce Dallas Howard, well-known actor.
Well, that one guy is the director of Thor.
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
Taika Waititi directed Thor Ragnarok and What We Do in the Shadows. He's brilliant.
Oh.
Very, very comedically centered guy, so I'm interested to see what he does with it. I actually think it's going to be closer to the West world of Star Wars. Like, it's going to be...
Right.
I think it's a Western in its feel.
I would be happy to have the West world of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I would be delighted with the same attention to detail and storytelling.
And droids.
And droids.
Realistic-looking robots that look like humans. They don't have that in Star Wars. Hey?
They don't.
They totally have the technology to do that, but they don't. I wonder why.
They tried it once, didn't work.
When did they try it?
I'm just kidding.
Is that what Lobot is?
That's in the movie. What's one of my favorite lines from Reservoir Dogs, where he's like, where they're like, why can't we choose our own colors?
That's
And
what
he's
everybody
like,
wants to be.
Tried
Mr.
it
Black.
once, doesn't work. That's right.
You
And
can't be Mr. Black.
So I like it. Why? Hey, have you guys ever thought about putting the skin on top of the droid? Tried it, doesn't work.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
all you need to know.
That would be think about the robots or the droids' rights movement that L3 was starting back in Solo, and that would just take it to the next level. If they looked like humans, they would have to fight for the rights even more.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway.
By the way, I just thought of something. Maybe Carl Weathers is playing the Eddie Murphy role from 48 Hours, and so the two of them together are like
Buddy
two
cops.
wacky buddies busting asses in a galaxy far, far away. That could be good. That could be a good show.
That could be. That's a series on its own. We don't need them to be in an episode of The Mandalorian, or maybe they are Mandalorians. Maybe they're both old Mandalorians. They're wearing the armor. It's all busted up. It's interesting because we don't see a lot of the Mandalorian culture in any Star Wars film. It's something that's kind of reserved for the TV series, and it was a big part of Rebels, of course, because that main character is a Mandalorian, and there was a lot of episodes that took place on Mandalore and looked at their culture.
And the Clone Wars. For my liking, there's almost too much Mandalorian content in the extended animated universe.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen a lot of them other than Boba Fett.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a lot of them in this part of the timeline around the original trilogy. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm kind of excited.
And I will say, here's the biggest tribute that I can pay all of this news, and that is for the first time last week, I went, maybe I will get this
Disney streaming
Disney.
service?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
I'll get it after all. Because I thought, and maybe
Nick Nolte did it for you, or was it Carl Weathers?
I like the idea that we're getting grown-up Star Wars over a long stretch of a TV series, being with big names.
I don't think it's going to be that grown up. I think it's still going to be fairly kid friendly.
No, I don't.
It's going to be like a PG. It's going to be like Star Wars, a PG.
I'm not expecting Game of Thrones level nudity or something, but I just mean in terms of storytelling. Like, there's great shows on HBO that aren't, that don't have
Swearing
challenging content.
Like what?
To them? My Brilliant Friend. It's a delightful show on Sundays right now.
I don't watch
that show.
Just
beautiful. Oh, then again, it is a foreign-made thing being shown by
I was going to say
HBO.
Silicon Valley is the only one that consistently doesn't have nudity, but there's still a lot of swearing in that show. People like that they can make. I mean, it's part of realistic conversation, although it's not part of realistic Star Wars conversation, right? So Star Wars doesn't need to have swearing because people don't swear. What's a swear in a nerf herder? Is that a swear?
Not
Star
really.
Wars. Like what is a Star Wars
put-down.
swear? Who's scruffy looking? Like that's a swear. That's a put down. There's no swearing. There's hell. We know that there's hell.
Battlestar Galactica has their frack.
Yeah.
But don't we have? There must be something in Star Wars, don't they? Bantha Poodoo.
Well, that's like shit.
That's bullshit.
Poodoo is like shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bullshit in the Star Wars universe. So that's the closest one we can think of. Let me just think.
Poodoo. Come on, we can do better than that.
Yeah, that was the first, like in the prequel.
That's a prequel one. Yeah. That's right.
The prequel had a few of those. Although Bantha Poodoo came up many times, I feel like more than probably 3 times in the prequels. I think we heard Bantha Poodoo and then translated into English in the subtitles for us, so we could go,
That's Watto saying that. Watto says
Bantha shit.
Anyway.
Well, I think Sebulba says it.
Oh, that's right.
I think we hear it a few times.
Yeah, you know way too much about that.
About Sebulba?
Yeah. I want to talk about, speaking of, I know we already talked about it briefly, but you talked about the end of Boba Fett and he gets thrown into the Sarlacc pit.
Does he ever?
There is a real life Sarlacc pit here in Canada.
There is.
This is something that came out last week. They discovered a new cave, although they discovered it months ago. It's just kind of coming out now that it's been discovered, and basically it's a giant pit in the ground, but they say it's the biggest cave in Canada and one of the biggest in the world.
They saw it from a helicopter.
Yeah.
How hidden could this thing be?
Well, it's not. It's in the ground, and it's not something you'd have to like walk up to it just because it's in the mountains, right? Yeah. It's like 500 kilometers north of Vancouver in the mountains, so you wouldn't see it unless you were flying over top. And there's a cave in Mexico that looks like this. I can't remember what it's called, but I remember seeing it in a film once. So it's like you would have to drop in there vertically. So it does look like a pit, and the people in the helicopter named it Sarlacc's Pit because of its similarity to the Sarlacc. Although there's no tentacles, there's no beak thing coming out. I know that's special.
There's
edition.
there's no. Despite the fact there's nothing relating to it other than it's
just
a
a pit. That's it.
Right.
I guess the people flying that helicopter were Star Wars fans, so they've named it that. So yeah, we'll see. I think someone should go there and actually outfit it with some foam tentacles and make it look like the Sarlacc. Or you could even do it digitally. Someone should do that digitally. Actually, that's a good idea for a little video there. Make it cut that into footage from Return of the Jedi so that
or dress up in Boba Fett cosplay and jump in.
There you go. And play a Wilhelm scream as you fall.
Right, and then never come out and go, is he alive or dead? Is he alive or dead? 30 years later, alive or dead?
It takes like 1,000 years to digest, right? That's how long it takes the Sarlacc to digest things. So.
Right. So, but you'd be dead before you're fully digested. Is
right.
The idea.
Exactly.
Right. He doesn't keep you alive for 1,000 years. Although that would be worse. It'd be probably better in that situation to just die.
Yes, it would.
Yes. So that's cool. I like that. I like that. Some scientists named a Canadian pit after
Star Wars fans, man. They're everywhere. We had our first look at the Millennium Falcon in the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Park. They released a photo of it. Now this ride, it looks cool. It looks awesome.
Looks very cool.
It looks just like the Millennium Falcon. I don't know how the logistics of it are going to work. So you've been to Disney World, although you were a kid when you went.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't have. No, I'm sure they didn't have this ride. So when I went a couple years ago with the kids, they had a ride called Mission to Mars, which is actually in the Epcot Park. And
Epcot Center was being built, I think, when I went there.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so when you went, it would have just been the Magic Kingdom, and that's it.
I think they had, if I'm not mistaken, I think Space Mountain was around.
Yes.
Was that Epcot?
Yep.
Is that part?
No, that's in Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
yeah, I'm just trying to get my mind around what was there. I don't think that any of that stuff was there.
So what I'm imagining what they're saying about this Millennium Falcon ride is that it allows you to pilot the Millennium Falcon through a mission, right? So I think it's going to be a motion kind of ride, similar to what there's one called the Wild Thing, which has always been like the kind of go-to for references. Is when you get into this thing and it moves around and on the screen you're on a roller coaster and it feels like you're really on a roller coaster. It's like a simulation. And so when I was in Disney World, they had one called Mission to Mars, which is starring Gary Sinise. And it was clearly made like back in the Apollo 13 days for Gary Sinise.
I forgot.
I think they grabbed him off the set of Apollo 13 and said, okay, here, you're a space commander. There's a mission to Mars. Go. And so he's like the commander. He's talking to you through the screen, and you're sitting in this thing, and it's supposed to be looking like the cockpit of a rocket ship, right? And so you go there and you fly through asteroids, and there's like some controls. Everybody there's 4 people per pod or whatever. Everyone has a different role. One person fires the boosters, one person steers. Here's the thing. I don't think anything really affects the outcome of the thing.
That's
I think
right.
it's all like pre-planned, and no matter what you do, you're still gonna complete the mission. So I imagine that's what this Millennium Falcon ride is gonna be. You're gonna have to do the Kessel Run, and one of you is Han, one of you is Chewie, one of you is Lando. I don't know who else is, and one is Kira. I guess that's who was in the cockpit for that Kessel Run. So you each have a different thing to do. And that's going to be, and they're going to, I think there's up to like 200 people can go on this thing at a time.
What?
Something like that. So that they're going to
200 people.
Well, they've got to turn these things around, man. They got to be boom, boom, boom. Like the lineup is going to be crazy for this. They've got Fast Pass. You got to get in there, and they got to rotate that through. No ride at Disney is like more than 3 minutes long. I don't think. The
waiting time is longer than the ride
Star
itself.
Tours. It's funny, when we went to Star Tours, which is in Hollywood Studios, there was like virtually no line. It was so weird. We went early though. We went early in the day. There was virtually no line. We get in there. That was awesome. That was another one of those like virtual motion things. So you get into this ship and you're being piloted around. C-3PO and R2-D2 are there to take you through it. And they incorporated, I went there after The Force Awakens. They incorporated some Force Awakens, some Jakku footage of the Millennium Falcon flying through the Star Destroyer stuff. And it was very, very cool. So I'm looking forward to this. Again, this is on my go-to list for family vacation 2019 or 2020, whenever this thing opens. We're going to be heading back down to Disney to check this out.
I'm not motivated by going on rides. I never have been, but
Okay.
but I do. But it does look cool, and I think with kids, that's how you need to go there. Bring the kids.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just don't think
You don't think the adults are going to be lining up for this?
there'll be some. There'll be some. It's like,
There's
you
gonna
know.
be lots. I think there's going to be more adults than kids lining
Yeah,
up for this.
probably at first. At first, you got to get all the Star Wars geeks.
That's
through
right.
first.
Everyone's
yeah,
going to be flocking
Yeah,
there
like if
to-
I were in the neighborhood, I'd go see that thing if I were in that state. But I don't think I'd ever make a special trip to go see
Okay,
it.
but what about like the cantina? They're going to create the Mos Eisley Cantina, and you can go there and order a blue milk.
Imagine
and
what
stuff.
the wait will be for that.
Well,
at the
I
bar.
imagine though. I wonder if it's going to be like the character restaurants. Oh, that would be such a good idea, but expensive. So they have character restaurants. Disney. What I was most surprised about at Disney is the affordability of a lot of the options there. It's not super expensive, gouge you for everything. They have varying degrees of prices. You can actually get a meal there for like $10 or whatever, like a normal restaurant, like a fast food restaurant, and you can get really good tacos. Actually, we had great tacos in Frontierland.
Yum.
But there's also the higher end of it. It's called a character restaurant, and you have to book in advance, and it's at least $50 a person. And it is you sit down to eat. I think it's a buffet. I don't know actually. And the characters are there. All the people dressed up like Mickey and Donald Duck and Tigger and all those characters are all walking around. It's for the kids, so the kids can say hi and have photos. So that's one of the ways in which you can interact with characters at Disney. The other way is to wait in line for photo ops, which also happens. But I wonder if this cantina will be like one of those restaurants. You book in advance, $50 a person, sit down, and then you go in there and all the Star Wars characters are in there. Like Darth Vader serving hash browns.
Well, how bar-like can it be if kids are allowed in there?
They can't just say adults only. I don't think anybody. Well, this is going to be its own park, but there's no alcohol served in any of the Disney parks. I don't believe.
What?
Maybe one.
Now I'm really not
No,
going.
I think maybe one. There's one club in Disneyland. Club. I don't remember what it's called. Club 33 or something like that. It's like an exclusive club.
Club 33.
Seriously, this is where they used to, like, all the rich people used to hang out in the 60s. And it is still like a private club, but you can go there and get a drink. There are parts of Disney, like the overall Disney World. You can go to Disney Springs, which is more of like a shopping district. Go to a restaurant and get a drink. But yeah, in the Disney parks themselves, there's no alcohol served.
Long lines, tons of kids, no drinks. Oh boy. I don't know, Dan.
where
You're
do
not,
you
doing
sign
you're not doing a very good
I'm not
job
trying to. I want
selling this.
I want less people to go. I don't want you to go there. I will go and I will report back. You don't have to go. You can live virtually through me. and
Well,
my
do
kids.
what I do. I go to every year. I go to the Carberry Desert here in Manitoba, and I
Okay.
pretend I'm in Tatooine.
Do you really?
No.
Oh.
But although
I've never been there.
Oh, you've never? Well,
Oh.
here's the thing. It really is a desert, and actually, the military trains there. You're aware of that?
Oh, I didn't know
Did you
that.
Yeah, yeah. They actually
Simulate like Afghanistan and stuff like that.
exactly.
Okay.
But you can go on these walks, and they're really amazing. Spruce Woods Provincial Park for people listening, and you go on these beautiful walks, and you really do get to dunes and stuff that really look like they could be Tatooine. And so, of course, when you're there, you got to it really does. I mean, that's enough to really feel like you're in the Star Wars universe, let alone getting
Wow.
on a Millennium Falcon.
Someone should do. I know some guys who do something called the Frontier LARP.
Yeah.
LARPing is live action role play, and
Yeah.
these guys set up these situations. They did one recently at the old military base in Gimli, and they set up like a post-apocalyptic situation there where you're in these barracks. Like they use the real buildings and stuff. Someone should tell them to go out there to do a Star Wars LARP. They can totally set up like a cantina and stuff. And
I think the main issue is in summertime, you get a lot of hikers through there,
Oh, wow.
and so it's not as, you know what I mean? It's not as secluded.
It doesn't have to be secluded.
Go during the week.
People will just go, "What's going on here?"
Ever gone to the beach like on a Tuesday or something, and you go there, nobody's there.
Yeah.
It's like the greatest day at the beach
That's
ever.
right.
You can never go on a Saturday after that.
One of the benefits of having our job is that we're off in the summertime, so we can go on weekdays if we want.
Absolutely. One of the benefits of having our job is not marking.
I was wondering
At
when
this
you're going
time
to
of
get
year.
into that. It's like 25 minutes into the podcast, and you brought it around to marking.
How much marking have you got to do there? Dan?
Oh, I'm in good shape. I'm in good shape. I still have to mark some tests and IPPs, which are projects in our program, and I'm good. So I'm not procrastinating this
Good
year.
for you.
I'm on top of it. Yeah.
Any Star Wars references in your marking so far?
Not so far.
I'm trying to think
I
about.
I know you have your students. I saw you tweeted out students drawing your
Yeah.
pictures. Did anybody make a Star Wars ad for Ritz crackers?
No, but I did, and usually I spent a whole semester telling them to avoid the licensed properties.
Yeah.
But there is a part of the test where they have to name, like, there's different kinds of branding, and one of the things, and licensed branding is one of them, and brand extensions, and a few people pointed to the Marvel Universe as brand extensions. The idea that you have the Avengers, and then, oh, that was successful, so we'll extend that to Black Panther, and we'll extend that, like all those brand extensions. And I thought, as I was reading that, you could actually apply that to Star Wars.
Sure. Well, maybe that's what they're trying to do with the Mandalorian.
It is what they're trying to do, which is extend the brand.
Yeah.
You have a successful brand, then you extend it, and the danger with extending it is you can erode the initial brand if it doesn't go well.
Yeah. That kind of ties into my next topic, which is these new shorts. Have you seen these new animated shorts they've done from?
I have not watched them.
Okay, I'm going to play one right here.
All right, let's see
they're
it.
like super short. They're like a minute long. So what this is, they're using audio from the original films and reimagining it as animations. So this is on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel, which only has 42,000 subscribers. That seems really low. This video has only got 77,000 views, which seems low to me for a Star Wars thing. But let's give this a watch. I don't know if you can see from your angle, but
I can.
In a galaxy of adventures, Luke will face the Emperor.
You will witness the final destruction of the Alliance and the end of your insignificant rebellion. Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design.
I will create a grand army.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire. Your fleet is lost. There is no escape. The Alliance will die. As will your friends.
that's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
I like the animation style.
Me too.
It looks different from
Anime a little.
little anime, but also looks hand drawn, not computer generated, which has been what we've been given for the last, however many years.
Anime rhymes with Nick Nolte.
So this one obviously, and there's a bunch
Those
of
are
them.
cool. Who's making these?
This is Lucasfilm is making them, and they're using it. The way I've seen this kind of marketed is like this is a way to get your kids into the original films. Like if you wanted to get your kids to watch the original trilogy,
Why wouldn't you just show them the original trilogy?
I don't know. That seems like a good idea to me.
This is like
It's a gateway drug
like
into
a
the original trilogy.
Clean the palate.
I don't know. It's weird. It's a cool use of the sound. Like the one thing I liked about that one we just watched is that it's a collection of Palpatine clips from across the 6 films that he's in. So it's got him starting with him and Luke and Vader in his room on the Death Star, and then it goes back to the prequels and him being Senator Palpatine, who kind of plots the beginning of the downfall of the Republic and all that other stuff. So it kind of shows the flashbacks and then comes back to the present, and it tells the entire story of Palpatine in like a minute and 13 seconds, which is really cool. There's one here: Chewbacca versus Holochess. Let the Wookiee win. Okay, let's watch this one. This looks fun.
He made a fair move. Screaming about it can't help you.
Let him have it. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee.
I see your point, sir. I suggest a new strategy, R2. Let the Wookiee win.
Those are fun. I like it.
Is that new dialogue? Is that
No.
newly recorded dialogue, or that's
No,
the
this is
existing?
all existing audio from the original trilogy.
Huh.
Now, one thing I noticed in that one we just watched, they show a shot of Chewbacca kicking Greedo's ass, which doesn't happen in the films.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe the thing, part of this is that they're kind of reimagining what this could look like.
Maybe that's the little Greedo from episode 1, whatever that guy was called.
Well, he was supposed to be little Greedo, but
He kicked the living shit out of that guy at some point.
At one, there's another one I watched about the trench, like when they're going to destroy the Death Star in the trench run, and they absolutely used a clip from Empire Strikes Back, like Wedge going, "Ooh, that got him."
I like that part.
That is from Empire, but they used it in a reference to the first film. So they are mixing it up a bit. They're not like sticking certain dialogue with the movie it's actually from.
So this is like a greatest hits Star Wars
it's hard
for kids.
It is. It's just little animated shorts. That's all it is. Using audio, and they've reanimated it. So I imagine they put together the audio first. I don't know. I don't know how they go about making this.
This looks like a make work project at Lucasfilm. It looks like, well, you're sitting around too much, so why don't you make some digital shorts out of these audio clips? Sounds like an assignment you might give a class.
Yes, that's right. Although I can't imagine, it would take a long time to create these. They're really well done. So that's on YouTube. Just look up Star Wars Kids on YouTube and you'll find it. Galaxy of Adventures is what they're called, and there's about 20 of them.
So you could watch the entire collection in as much time as it costs to watch a half-hour sitcom.
Yeah,
basically.
for sure.
Yeah.
You can just watch all of them. And so it's a kind of a cool thing. I really enjoyed when they did the first Clone Wars shorts back in the day.
Oh, I love
before those. Those, again, hand-drawn, really cool animation and very cool looking. And it really made me excited about the prequels, something that never was able to do for me before.
Yeah. They were really well done. I bought the DVDs for those.
Yeah,
those are great.
Those are excellent. So this is kind of another one of those kind of things. So cool. There we
yeah,
go.
very nice. They drawing my attention to these.
Yeah,
they look
I would
great.
definitely check it out.
And there's some prequel ones up there too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have what am I looking here?
It's not just original.
Most of it is original. Well, there was references to the prequels in that one that the Palpatine one. So they kind of go back and forth. They seem to be more focused on characters. Like there's one here. There's one for each of the major.
Is there a Yoda?
No, there's no Yoda one. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, show me the Yoda. No Yoda.
No Yoda.
Oh,
yet.
brother.
Maybe they're going to do some more. There's one on Han Solo, one
on
Leia.
Boba? Is there Boba?
There's no Boba. There's Luke versus the Wampa.
Okay.
There's Darth Vader. There's a couple of Darth Vader ones. Wow.
Is there Sebulba?
There's Sebulba.
Chesko Sebulba. Chapoko Umangisa. Mitisa Radical Vanapichapachawa.
Have you picked up any Star Wars toys?
No, I look all the time. I have not been buying, but and they, as what I said last time, they've got the entire Han Solo line now at EB Games, and they don't appear to be moving. They're sitting on the shelf. I think because just the expense of them.
Well, I wanted to tell you that today Amazon is having Star Wars deals on toys. This is something that came out. I saw the news story, and so you can go on. They have a certain Star Wars. They did Marvel last week, I think. So Amazon is having this, I think, 12 days of Christmas sales or something like that. And so I thought this might be a good opportunity to look through and maybe highlight some possible Christmas presents for each of us. As if any of our family or loved ones are listening, they might get some hints here as to what I was asked to give a list so my kids know what to get me for Christmas. So these are some of the things that we could do here. There's a lot of Funko Pop.
Aren't you one of those dads that says, just give me some free time? Give me an hour of quiet, or give me a Sunday.
Okay, so here we have Star Wars Classic Twin Full Comforter. I would love to have, although
that's
it needs
nice.
to be a king for me, but I think I would love to have like a full adult set of like comforter and sheets like I had when I was a kid.
Oh, that'd be great.
You had that when you were a kid, right?
I did. Yeah, I sure
Everybody
did. Well, there was only one you could buy back then, and so when you see some of those classic photos, it's always the same bed sheets.
Yes.
Unless it was like somebody went off the grid and made their own or something.
We do have a set for Luke that kind of gets, every time we change the sheets, we end up putting it on there every once in a while, and he does kind of enjoy those. Lots of BB-8 merch. We have a whole set of like these USB drives. So
I have a Darth Vader one.
Yeah, there's Darth Vader, BB-8.
I back up all my
Solo.
work files onto my Darth Vader USB.
Disney Star Wars Jedi Knight adult comfy throw blanket with sleeves. So it's what's that thing called with the sleeves?
A Snuggie.
A Snuggie. You got to get a Star Wars Snuggie that looks like Obi-Wan's robes. That's
What's next
pretty cool.
to it? What's that? What's the what are those Praetorian Guard there?
This year?
That? Yeah.
This is a figure. This is action figure.
Oh, I thought that was the Snuggie.
No, that'd be
cool.
That's
cool.
20-inch action figures. This is pretty big.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of those ones. They lack detail.
Well, I mean, this is more for just putting on your shelf and leaving there. But they do have some black figures here. We have Val Mimban. Who's that? Oh, is that from Solo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Val.
That's right.
That's
they have that one at EB Games.
Okay.
It's very cool. It's a very well rendered.
They have one for these are the smaller ones. They have the what's it called? The Range Trooper.
Yeah, those are great. I've got that
boots.
guy. I've got that guy. He's too cool not to buy.
That's very cool. Yeah. There's that guy, but that's not the black figure. That's the smaller. They call it.
I thought that was.
No, they call it the Vintage Collection. Those are the ones that look smaller. They're the regular 3 1/4, 3 3/4, and they come in the packaging that looks like the old packaging. Lots of Funko Pop here.
You know what I noticed at EB Games? They've got an incredible supply of Christmas gifts that appear to be boxed in a Christmas way, but for all different fandoms, including Star Wars. I don't know if they come that way or they do them there, but it looked like they were already. They're wrapped and ready to go.
They could be doing that. That could be a tactic they do to sell that stuff.
Yeah.
I love how like EB Games has slowly kind of gotten into like the merchandise other than games. It's like you can go there. I actually went there looking for a controller, an actual Xbox controller, and I could not find one.
The game section is shrinking there. I noticed.
It is.
Even the used ones. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know either.
Everyone's just downloading them now, or what?
I guess so. And all the used ones are all the older ones. I don't know if people are trading in their newer Xbox games. By the way, I have not had a chance to play. I said last episode I was going to play Battlefront 2, and I have not had a chance to. So hopefully over the holidays I'll have time to sit down and try out all the new DLC for Battlefront 2. I think that looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have some. So they have, like I see here, they have Star Wars The Black Series Legends, Jaina Solo.
Oh yeah,
which is not a
that
character.
One never came here.
Well, that's not a character from canon. It's a extended universe character. That's Han Solo's daughter, Han Leia's daughter, which doesn't exist. Although maybe she does. Maybe it's Rey.
I say she does exist.
That's right. Look at this, the Chewbacca mask, the famous Chewbacca mom mask. We have one of these actually.
There is a new show on Netflix called Meme something. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's being advertised heavily on Netflix, Meme World or something like that. And in the preview they show all the different people online that sort of had some degree of fame, and one of them is Chewbacca mom.
Okay, these prices are pretty good. I got to say, they have a Obi-Wan Kenobi Force Link figure for $5.59. That's Canadian. That's pretty good. They also have the Mr. Potato Head Play School Friends Star Wars Mini Multi-Pack Collection for $11.49. So that comes with Obi-Wan, Kylo Ren, Princess Leia, and R2-D2 Potato Head figures. We have the Kylo Ren one on its own.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's some good. So if you're looking for some good Star Wars deals, check out Amazon.
Yeah, or
although given the state of our postal system, I don't know if we would get it in time for Christmas.
Hey, I actually tried to put an order through Amazon. They wouldn't send it because of the postal strike.
Yeah.
They're actually declining orders.
Like even though they've been ordered, the postal workers have been ordered back to work. There's still like a backlog of 1 million packages or something like that they didn't get to. So they're kind of suspending all their promised delivery times.
By the way, this is the Canadian thing we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So people know.
Oh yeah.
We're in Canada where postal workers go on strike every single Christmas.
Okay, here's what I want. This is my Christmas wish list. Top of the list. The Last Jedi Little Guys Woven Tapestry Throw Blanket. It's a blanket that you can hang on your wall with porgs. Look at this. This is what it is. So it's like, like when you were like, this is me when I was in my 20s. I had this wolf blanket that I hung on my wall as a decoration. This is my bachelor
Wolf
pad.
Blitzer.
No, a wolf in a full moon, like that kind of a wolf.
Oh, I thought it was Wolf Blitzer.
It was a very comfortable blanket, but for a while there, I had it on my wall as kind of a decoration. And this is the same thing except with porgs. Look at that porg. Look at that. Oh, how beautiful! It's got like a kind of a fringe around the edge. It's wow. That's just, I need that. I have to have that. All right, what else?
How about can you get the milk creature? Milk dispenser.
That's right. Oh, that'd be hilarious.
If you could get that, I would want that. So I could aggressively take a sip, like Luke, just like my hero Luke did in the film.
I saw a recent video on YouTube that was everything, because there's a series it's called Cinema Sins or Cinema Wins. And so they do everything wrong with this movie, everything right with this movie. And they did everything right with The Last Jedi. It's 45 minutes long, this video. So this person who makes these videos, I don't know what he's called, but you can look on the Cinema Wins on YouTube. And it was a huge, like a 45-minute argument against the haters saying, this is good, this is a good movie, watch this movie again, it's good.
Yeah.
And he goes through everything. There's so many good points in it, and we've talked about a lot of them on this podcast, but there are so many things to take away from that film that are good, and there are too many people out there who kind of focus on the negative and don't embrace it. And I'm worried that they've now lost their Star Wars fandom because of that.
Yeah, it's a debate you can't win. Because,
it's a matter of opinion, right? It's not, none of it is based in fact. So,
well, it's all based on the classic. I don't know anything about art, but I know what I like, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And just the other day, I listened. It's been a long time since I listened to any Star Wars podcasts other than our own, of course, because I love the sound of my own voice.
That's right.
But I listened to Star Wars Underworld this week, and they still stuck it to Last Jedi a little again. Like they were the podcast that right after they saw it, they did not care for it. Or I shouldn't put words in their mouth, but
did they say that?
There were people on that show who did not care for it and were mad. And then they sort of were. They're still Star Wars fans. They still come around. They're Canadian, so one of them is anyway. So they're they come around at a certain point and go, oh, maybe I was wrong, eh? so they come around at a certain point and do that, and then. Last week, they once again seemed to be a little shaky about it. They seemed to be sort of coming back around to being showing a little frustration toward it, I can say.
Really?
So yeah. So I just think that if you didn't like it, it's hard to talk yourself out of the fact. It's like Phantom Menace when we all wanted to like it, but it was hard to talk yourself into it.
Yeah.
But there's elements I do like about Phantom Menace, and similarly, there's elements I do like about Last Jedi. But I think folks who just decided this is not for me, you're just not gonna. It's like people who voted for Trump. Is there any sense?
You're comparing Last Jedi haters to Trump voters.
No, I'm just saying people who go all in with their opinion these days, in particular, tend to stay that way.
Okay.
It's very hard. In class, we talk about the principles of persuasion in PR class and how to persuade people. It's hard.
It is.
And
harder now than ever before.
Right. The overriding rule is nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. So if nobody cares about the point you're trying to make, you're not going to move anybody.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, it's tough. And especially if you're dealing with pop culture, forget it. People just like what they like. They don't like what they don't like. It's like me hating, although I hated the last Avengers movie. And then when I saw it again on the plane, I was like, all right, there's elements that I do like about it. Whereas originally I was like, this is shit. I hated all of it. I was like, this is garbage. It's a trailer. It's a 2.5-hour trailer for another 2.5-hour movie. This is shit. Blah, blah, blah. And I left there. And then when I saw it again on the plane, I was like, that was okay.
That actually segues into my next topic, our final topic, which is we started this podcast episode talking about episode 9. I want to finish up talking about episode 9. I'll get there by saying the new Avengers trailer dropped last week.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay, so it's called Avengers Endgame. And now it's funny because I just read an article talking about the Russo brothers. Apparently they believe that the era of the 2-hour movie is over, and movies have to be at least 3 hours now in order to be good.
Pardon?
That's what he says. That's what they say. 2 hours is not enough time to tell a compelling story. It needs to be a 3-hour movie. And to that I say, if that's your story, get a TV series, because that's you can't. I don't think anybody's gonna accept regularly. Can you imagine a 3-hour Star Wars movie? We almost got it with The Last Jedi. We got 2:20 or something, 2 hours, 20 minutes or something?
Even something I love tends to drag over 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they used to put an intermission in movies that were 3 hours long. Like Gandhi had an intermission where you'd get up and you'd stretch your legs, you go get some popcorn.
That's a great idea. They should do that, actually. They should do that.
That's what they used to do. And all the David Lean movies had an intermission. You can actually still watch movies, some classics, where the card comes up and goes, intermission, and it plays like the
Monty Python famously.
Right.
They mocked it.
That's right.
But
that's where that came from.
That's right. If you're going to
3 hours.
Well, the thing is, think about it. It's 3 hours plus half an hour of trailers beforehand. and you get there early because you want to get a good seat. So sometimes you're sitting in that seat for 4 hours. Come on. But anyway, all this to say that I thought it was interesting that for the Avengers film, for the next Avengers film, they did not reveal the title of that film until the trailer.
Endgame.
Yeah,
I tweeted because they're saving up Bum Rush. They're saving it up. So they went.
And I mean,
but what about Ender's Game?
Well, there's
freaking End.
There's all kinds of. A lot of people have an
please.
issue with the title. I don't care either way. It doesn't mean anything.
Endgame.
It doesn't mean anything.
And
to
by
me.
the way, really, this is the end. This is the end of Avengers.
Well, it's going to be
movies.
end for some of them, not all of them.
Please. The beginning of the End Game, Part 2.
So, do you think that we might I used to think until I saw that I used to think that we were going to get the title of the next Star Wars film ahead of the trailer. Do you think they might do the same thing for this and wait until the trailer drops before they give us the title? They have never done that before. They've always given us the title ahead of time.
It's possible. I mean, Star Wars, though, is rewarded with well-timed leaks, and as we saw, because Solo didn't have time to do the well-timed leaks, and that ended up not being. It still made a heap of money, but less than what I guess was expected. But I think part of that is the timing. I'd say a lot of it is the timing.
But now we're almost a year away from the next film.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to start doing something pretty soon, I guess, to get us excited about it.
Well, and some of the bad news on or the bad headlines on Flipboard have the speculation about what the name of the movie is and stuff, but none of it. It all sounds bullshit again.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't think they'll do that. I think we'll get it. The name.
You think they'll get the name? So we should be getting the name soon.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get the name like around Christmas. Like exactly. What is the opening date? Is it December 18th? You know what? One thing I wanted to say is that it's Christmas time, of course. It's
we
all
have
around.
nothing.
We have 2 weeks, and it feels weird to not be going to a Star Wars movie. For the first time in like 3 years, we had 3 Star Wars movies in a row at Christmas time, and I was starting to like that. And this year, nothing.
Normally, I'm fighting to get the marking done in advance of the Star Wars.
So we can go see the Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Yes, we've done that a couple of years now, and there's nothing. So I think, I guess the short answer is they should have waited for Solo. They should have waited till now to release Solo.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they didn't. That's still something that bothers me. I don't know why they didn't just wait and release it at Christmas time. But they're trying to get into the summer blockbuster season, I guess.
Yeah.
Get Star Wars back to that place. But I think it's a better fit for Christmas.
Well, they trained us to like Christmas now.
Well, yeah, but if you think about this is case. So this is the other. There's 2 times a year where it's big for movies. There's summertime, summer blockbusters. There's Christmas time, not usually because of summer blockbusters, but because all the Oscar movies are coming out right now. So we have all these Oscar contenders in theaters, limited runs until after the Oscars, and then they go wide, right? So they can get out and take advantage of all the buzz. But we also have some big movies coming out right now. Aquaman is coming out. The new Spider-Man animated film is coming out. What? That looks good. They got Spider-Ham. Peter Porker. Whatever. So there are a few bigger titles coming out. I guess maybe that's it. Maybe that's it for the big blockbusters. They've got the new.
You know what I'm excited about?
Movie?
The Laurel and Hardy movie.
That looks good.
Yes. I love
good.
Laurel and Hardy.
And also,
I sound like I'm 90, but I do. I love Laurel.
Speaking of Laurel and Hardy, we have the new Sherlock Holmes with the modern day Laurel and Hardy, Will Ferrell and what's his name there from Step Brothers and all that stuff. That's also coming out. So there's a lot of big movies coming out this holiday season. And again, it feels weird. Maybe they're all taking advantage of the fact that there's not a Star Wars movie coming out. So
of course they are.
Well.
Yes, of course they are.
Yeah, okay.
But although Star Wars proved to be fallible on the last run, so now maybe
because it didn't come out at Christmas time.
Yeah, people will be coming after it, thinking maybe it is fallible.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, it'll be. I'm looking forward to seeing it next year. That's pretty damn exciting.
Almost a year away, and I think we'll get. I'm going to predict right now. I think we're going to get the title and the trailer at the same time at the Super Bowl. That's when we're going to get it.
Oh, Super Bowl. I'll say trailer then. I think we'll get a title before then.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Let's see.
They got to do it soon.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you in the ass.
I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
That's no moon.
Now I